All right, so now that you understand the basics of Cursor, there's nothing better, of course, than to actually use it and then get familiar with it to such a point where you don't have to think where to go to find things anymore. It happens automatically. Right, so if you're going to use Cursor, and I played with many other tools, and I find Cursor to be the best for me. But there are others, all right, and you can use the others. Now, let me tell you something about cost, right? The only reason why I continuously mentioning cost is because while you're a student, what you pay for these things are important because you're not generating any money out of it yet. But once you start bringing in projects, costs are really not important anymore. If you say I have to go onto the $60 package, which is 1,000 Rand a month, but you design 10 websites, each giving you 20,000 a month, then suddenly that 1,000 Rand, which is really your main cost, becomes like nothing. All right, you don't even feel it. But yeah, while you're on training, I guess it's important to keep the costs down. But if you do have extra money, if you do have extra funds, do the paid version, the same with the graphic software. So here's what I would say you need to pay for right at this point in time. The first thing is your Cursor, and you can do the free plan. I think they also introduced a smaller plan these days, but the $20 plan will give you enough tokens to really program 10, 20 websites a month. All right. When it comes to images and videos, I like Minimax, but Leonardo seems to be even better, right? So use whatever you like and go for the paid versions where possible. So this lesson is all about planning. And if you create a single web page, there's not really a need for planning, right? It's really a web page, and you'll get away with just the prompt. But if you're going to create a full-blown website, with all kinds of additional things to it, then I would say look at planning. But planning becomes more important in tier 2 when we're going to also add functionality. Now, as I said in previous videos, always build the graphical user interface first and then build the functionality. But in tier 2, you will see that you can actually do both if you're going to plan. And what you do with planning is you say, all right, let's plan out this project. And the first part of it is the user interface. Let's get that right first. And then after that, we need a blog post and a back end where you can add new blog posts. We need a newsletter subscription area and even a shopping cart and so forth. And then you'll plan this whole thing out using plan mode. And you can tell plan mode even to create to-dos. And it should tick off each to-do, and you'll see that Cursor will create, let's say, a 20 item to-do list. And you can tell it after the graphical design part, stop, let me look at it, test, give feedback, and then we take it further from there once I love the GUI interface. So I've got open in front of me a brand new cursor window, nothing in there yet. I call that website. Simply, when you open up Cursor, it will ask you if it's a new project or where should it go to find the project that you're going to create. So in your file system, using File Explorer, my area is I'm going always to Documents, and inside there I have a directory called Cursor Projects, and then I have the subdirectories for each project. So I have a cursor directory, and in it I created a directory called website. And once I go to, once you start up, you'll get a page, of course, looking like that you say open project, and you can see there documents, cursor projects, website. So first go create the directory, or even if you want to, you can say open project and then scroll to wherever you want on your hard drive, right click, say create a new folder, call it website, and then just open that directory and you'll have something similar to this. So what I always do, the first thing is I go right click and I'll go and say new folder, because I always want a docs folder. Then I have a folder called assets, and that's for things like images, videos, audio files, whatever you want to put in there. And once I have this there, I'm sort of ready to start. The first thing I always do is I'm going to just create a little bit of rules. So I'll say this: please create a main rule showing that all MD files, all documents created should be in the docs folder. For example, plans should be in docs under the subdirectory plans. Assets are there for images and so forth. So I want to keep the system clean. If we can have this set as rules. I'll say in the, all right, I'm happy with that. All right, so now if I make plans, I'll know where to find it from now on. This directory becomes very big as you carry on. And what Cursor do is it creates a new directory called .cursor, and inside there you'll find rules. And let's open up this, and I'm going to right click, open preview, because it then gives it to me in a nice looking format. This file is saved as a MD file, and next week we're going to look at MD files very soon, and then you'll understand all this better. And you can see it created rules for me: plans, roadmaps, designs, notes, ADRs. Okay, now I don't like it. Yeah, so like that. So what I want is the docs folder, but plans will come into plans, ADRs will be in ADRs, design notes will be in design notes. So I want sub directories that make sense, and not just everything thrown into plans. All right. let's see what it comes up with now. The first thing you'll see is, if I go back to this, is that you'll start seeing green and reds. I should have saved it to see but let me say keep. Keep, as you now know, means now the file is saved in on your hard drive. If you don't say keep and you continue working, it acts as if it is saved. So you can still test everything before you keep it. All right. And then once you, because as you test things, it will be as if you did keep it, you know, so that you can first test, and then once you're happy, you can say keep, and it's then saved permanently. I'm just going to open up this again. Open preview. Plans, road design, notes, ADRs. Why doesn't it seem that it did what I wanted? Let's go back here. Oh, okay, there I see it did it. Let me just review. Okay, it is happy, it's done. I'm just going to close this down, close this down. I want to reopen it. Yeah, this looks better. Plans, ADRs, design notes, so everything will be in its own directories. All right, perfect. So let's start planning. It's going to make this smaller, and I can remove this, open this bigger, and I'm going to basically start a new chat. In agent mode, I'm going to change to plan mode, right? Because we're going to do some planning. So let's say we're going to create a website for, let's continue with this herbal thing that we played with previously. So we'll continue with that in the next lesson, and we'll create the full plan, but will take up a whole lesson. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.